my daily bread, that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line, precept on precept, line upon line, babe. I can't keep explaining, can't study for you. I can't think of nothing.
Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless everybody. Welcome to another late night show, Precept Upon Precept. We're your host. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Yasser. Officer Thomas.
Officer Solomon.
And you know how we roll, Israel. The first thing we're going to do is open up. We have a thumbnail created by Mikael up on the screen. And it's kind of a creative thumbnail. If you want us, Officer Solomon or one of your brothers, kind of let us know what's going on there.
Okay, so we have Nato crumbles while Trump raises hell. All right, and so you can see the American flag waving in the background with Trump. He's wearing his Make America Great Again as NATO. It's basically saying no NATO for us. If you can see that at the bottom, right below the NATO that he's sitting on. No NATO for us. And then you can see the weapons and everything from the war. And it's just a bunch of chaos. Welcome back to the presidency, Donald Trump.
Yeah, and when it says NATO crumbles, what we're going to get into tonight is one of the biggest parts of NATO actually on the continent of Europe is Germany. Germany is one of the it was the largest economy in all of Europe. And Germany is crumbling along with France, the two powerhouses. So tonight I want to start first by getting it right to, I know you didn't track with the 1, 2, 3, but we're going to track in the order. So go, don't even sweat it. Go to our girl, Lena Petrova. She's an economist, a CPA, and she has a new channel that goes into basically geopolitical insight. And as NATO begins to fall down, BRICS is rising up, and there's been a major change as of 7 days ago, okay? Let's go ahead and play it.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. The new year is shaping up to be very productive for the BRICS Plus bloc, besides adding a group of nations as partners.
Pause that real quick. If you can, I don't think you can blow that up, but if you at home take a look at the BRICS countries, when you look at it's like a bullseye target. Let's look in the inside. You have BRICS countries. The 5 that are connected with that line, those are the core 5 countries, which if we go to 12 o'clock, that's 12 o'clock. Brazil, go down to 2:30, 3 o'clock. That's Russia. That's the military powerhouse. Go down to India, largest population in the planet Earth, just surpassed China. Shoot over to China. China, that's where the headquarters for the financial institution is in China, and then go up to South Africa. Now, go to the next core. This is actually a very good diagram. The next core, start up at the top. Indonesia. No, I'm sorry. The next core. So, Indonesia. We're going to talk about Indonesia tonight. A lot of us may not know Indonesia is a group of islands, but it has a massive economy and a huge number of people. Go down to the next bottom. That's Saudi Arabia. Okay. Next one. United Arab Emirates. That is where Dubai and Abu Dhabi huge oil producers, small country in the Persian Gulf. Go over. I can't read that. Ethiopia. Pull up a map of the Middle East. I'm going to show you why Ethiopia is so important. And Russia and China are not stupid, man. They want to be able to have some say in the track route that goes. Look at Ethiopia. Look at Yemen and Ethiopia. Why would they be so important geographically? Well, let's put it this way. In Tria, they don't have any power. Okay, Ethiopia has one of the most largest populations. Look up the population of Ethiopia real quick. And how does it stand economically in Africa? Because I know Nigeria is the richest country. Ethiopia is very, very powerful. Okay, and go back to the map while we wait for that info, please. The map. That's not the diagram. The map with you were just there. You were just there. Okay, beautiful. Wow. Solomon, could you read that, officer?
The population of Ethiopia in 2025 is estimated to be 135,472,051 people, with a yearly percentage of 2.58%. This represents 1.65% of the world's population, making Ethiopia the 10th most populated country.
They have 135 million people. Now, I want you to show that map again. That's a lot of people in an area that you could fit multiple Ethiopians in the U.S. Now, look at Ethiopia. Maybe we can get a map of Ethiopia. I didn't tell you about this one, but it's a reason why. We gotta pay attention to why is China, and by the way, South Africa ain't got no real power. China and Russia have power. Why are they allowing Ethiopia to come in? Well, Ethiopia and Saudi Arabia are paralleled to one of the most important waterways on the planet Earth that goes to the Sinai Peninsula through the Suez Canal that connects the Indian Ocean with the Mediterranean Sea. Huge, and more important than the Persian Gulf.
Right.
Okay? And look at Ethiopia. If you think for 1 second that in Tria, blow that map up real quick, that little slither of a country, that little, because Ethiopia technically does not have a coastline, right?
Right.
Look at Eritrea, right? That's a shell of a country. Ethiopia is a powerhouse. And now they're there. Yemen, Saudi Arabia, these are all countries that are allied with BRICS. Okay, also Egypt. Egypt is also in BRICS. We have to see what's going on. There's a war going on economically. Okay, Solomon, you want to say something, brother?
No, sir. No,
Okay.
sir.
Jump in any time, brothers.
So
you know?
I did want to say that. You can say something? Go ahead. So Ethiopia and Yemen, that helps solidify militarily wise the missiles and equipment that's coming into that area. They use the Ethiopia routes to get to Yemen to bring the missiles, because Yemen is not making all the missiles that they shooting at Israel. They're being imported from China, Iran, and other places. So all of those things playing the part. All of those people are working together.
Bring it out, Thomas. You had something you want to bring
I
out?
was just going to say that's the reason why I think Trump trying to get the Panama Canal, because he sees what BRICS is, what they trying to do. So he trying to prepare himself when he come into office to try to combat that. But it's not going to work. He can't force these other countries to try to.
Hey, later on, because the second half of the show, we're going to get into all that with Trump. And there's something heavy behind what Trump is saying, because Mossad are making all this happen. So, okay, I like that. Ethiopia. All right. But just to show you, in Tria, that's a small country, small population. Ethiopia is the 10th most popular country on the planet Earth. And they're not even that large of a country, comparatively speaking. The point is that, why are they in the next core of leadership in BRICS? It's they're smart, okay? Go back to the diagram. which is, we're going to get to the third layer. Not, that's good. Very good. So we covered Egypt, and Egypt is there. So you've got Egypt, Ethiopia, you've got Saudi Arabia. That is the whole route, basically, of the doggone Red Sea. And guess what? If it comes down to it, Russia has hypersonic missiles that can touch all that area. So if somebody tries to attack coming in, they can destroy a lot of these other European powers.
No, Cap, I was just saying, we got Iran that's up there as well. It's right after Ethiopia.
Okay.
And so, you know, as you was that second layer of the core, you was at Ethiopia. We spoke on Ethiopia, and then Iran, and then Egypt. That's in that next layer.
Right.
So they're going to play a very big part in this as well.
Now, and as Solomon said, let's get to the partner countries. Now, the reason why they're not making them full countries is because the core five are like, let's slow down a little bit. We're going to find out when we get more into this video. Indonesia is a key country. So now let the partner nations, I'm going to be quick about it. Malaysia, Thailand, Belarus. Now, Belarus is in Eastern Europe. Remember that. Belarus is Eastern Europe. Bolivia, that's South America. Cuba, that's the Gulf of America. That's what Trump wants to name it. We're going to get to that after the show. Is that Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan, yes,
Pull
sir.
up a map of China. Pull up a map of Asia. Pull up a map, ASIA. Kazakhstan.
Southwest
Kazakhstan is so important. Remember, Russia beat the... yes. That's good. Leave it right there. That's good. No, I like what you had. I like it. Blow it up. Beautiful. By the way, this map may be wrong because Russia is significantly larger than that, but we'll work with this for now. Yeah, because look how big Africa is compared to Israel. Anyways, so Russia now has China and Russia. They also have India, part of the... Kazakhstan is right bordering Russia. Then you have Iran, Saudi Arabia. Look at the massive amount of land. Furthermore, okay?
Uzbekistan was on that core as well.
You know what? So get into give Solomon another map. I want a better map of Asia because you've trained in some of them countries and things of that nature.
I lived in Kyrgyzstan for 3 years.
Bring it out.
I also I was in Uzbekistan once it was right before we went to Afghanistan. Uzbekistan, for them to be a part of this is going to be very big for them because a couple of weeks ago we was talking about their money and how, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't match the dollar. And so, as a matter of fact, who was that? The Russian general that got killed, remember? And they paid him, what was it, $100,000? It was $100,000, and for them to be a part of BRICS, and this will do wonders for their economy.
Can we get Solomon another map of Asia? Now, to Solomon's point, why are we bringing this out? Because in order for there's a vacuum effect. In order for one power to go down, the void is going to be created by another power. BRICS is that void. BRICS is going to fill that power vacuum. And, we like this. Okay. Look at that. Look at the size of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is larger than Saudi Arabia. It's larger than Mongolia. Hell, it's damn near this size. It's almost the size of India. Look at the size of it. So, and then if you go to Europe, you have, I don't know where the stands are at. Where's the stands?
The stands are right below Kazakhstan.
Yes.
Kazakhstan. Then you got Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan.
Hey, circle with your mouse Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan is right there in the green, right there in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, now, so that borders Kazakhstan.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to your diagram circle wheel, and let's think of if just maybe they're recruiting them for political and, more importantly, geographical advantages. So you have Malaysia, Thailand, Belarus, Bolivia, South America, Cuba, Caribbean. You have Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, like Solomon just said he lived there, and Uganda, another powerhouse in Africa. Now, we're going to play the rest of this video, and she's going to talk about the most recent full-fledged member, not a partner, a full-fledged member. Play on.
January 1st, Brazil just announced that Indonesia has formally become the full 10th member of the BRICS Plus bloc. Last month in December, you might recall Brazil's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mauro Vieira, stated that BRICS is approaching a level comparable to the G20 format. Currently, BRICS includes Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Russia, India, China, Brazil, and South Africa, and as of January of this year, it includes Indonesia. My subscribers would recall that last year, BRICS stated that they intended to, quote, take a pause on the issue of expansion. And of course, they offered interested countries the status of partner nation.
So, real quick, Paul, don't keep the camera on the screen. They're selecting, here's my point, they're selecting who they want to be in. There's dozens and dozens more who are petitioning to get in. So they have a huge line waiting to get through the door of opportunity. That's the way they see BRICS as an opportunity outside of the colonial, imperialistic tyrancy of the United States of America. That's exactly what it is. More than 845 military bases that they publicly let people know about. Okay, not to mention the other ones that are not mentioned. Now, play on, and we're going to move on to the next.
Dad. Nevertheless, as of January 1st of this year, Indonesia and several other countries, including Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan, were granted the status of BRICS partners, and Indonesia has moved forward and is now a full member. By the way, Indonesia expressed its desire to join BRICS as early as 2010.
Stop. 15 years ago, Indonesia was trying to get in. Did you know? Let's see if those of you who watch the show pay attention. There is a contestment of the United States in the South China Sea. They're trying to control lanes of shipping in the South China Sea, which is now pull up a map of Indonesia, please. I didn't tell you about this one. Indonesia, because listen to this. Indonesia is it doesn't look like it. They have a huge, thank you, Akim, you in the spirit. Indonesia has almost 300, is that Indonesia? Almost 300 million people. The U.S. has like 360, 370. Indonesia is not even close to the size. They have a lot of power to be. Now pull up the map of Indonesia. This is not being talked about in the damn mainstream media. No one pays attention to this.
Right.
This is why we as Israelites have to look outside. I'm telling you, it takes me days to figure this stuff out. It'd be nice if I could go to one source. You got to research this, cross-reference that, look this up. You got to work. And you know what? All praise to the Most High. We have to share this information. Pull up a map of the structure of Indonesia. Geography. Okay. Give me Isaiah 14. What is going to make these nations say to the U.S., is this the man? I'm going to tell you. The U.S., under the guise in the proxy war using fighting through Ukraine, backing up funding Israel, is going to get everybody to go against that. And when they fall, this is what's going to be said. Read it.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
I'm sorry. Go to 4 first.
Verse 4. Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
So if you want to take the Bible literally for this time, are you saying that the land of Babylon, which is pretty much modern day Iraq area, you're telling me that the president of Iraq, is this talking about him? Is this prophet Isaiah speaking about the guy over there now? No, he's speaking about Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, which you read in the book of Psalms. This is talking about the United States of America. Read on.
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased?
Because Babylon oppresses everybody. Right now, we're going to get into how Germany is being oppressed by the United States of America. I'm going to show you some stuff tonight. Germany, you would think all these EU countries are all united and they're all, no, the German, I'm talking about Edomites over there are like, we do not want to deal with the U.S. anymore. They want to go with Russia. Okay? Now, this is very good. Can you back out so we can see in relation to, okay, I'm sorry. I like it. So again, I made a statement. I said, why is the United States trying to control the route of the South China Sea? Well, maybe Russia and China said, 2010, Indonesia was trying to get into BRICS. Do you think in the last 15 years they haven't been building relationships, lining their pockets maybe setting up shop? Because look at Indonesia. It is a series of islands. It's not one island. Look at it. And by the way, if you look at Singapore and Malaysia, those are separate countries. They are on the list that wants to join. That is now, do me a favor. Give me a map of China. And I know I'm throwing it, but this is important because this is happening this week. That'll work right there. They're the last one. Yeah, we have to pay attention to these things. So if we can, all right, while you do that, read Isaiah 14:4 and then jump.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased?
How has the oppressor ceased? Read on.
The golden city.
Everybody
ceased.
knows excuse me, Solomon. Everybody knows that the U.S. is the golden city. Everybody, nobody's trying to get to the Sudan. Is everybody trying to get to China? No. Is everybody? No, they're not trying to get to Russia. It has the biggest country, only 140 million people. Everybody, and their mother, their grandmother is trying to get to the U.S. This is the golden city. This is how we know. Now, get to the part where it says, 12. Is it 12? Do I want that? Yes, 12. Very good.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 12.
Come on.
How art thou fallen from heaven?
It's not talking about this guy fell from the clouds. Heaven is rulership. They rule over everything. As a matter of fact, let's look at the map. The U.S. has doggone bases in South Vietnam. They got bases in Laos. They got bases in the Philippines. They got bases in South Korea, all around China. But the U.S. is clear across the ocean on the other side of the world. This shows you that, read it again.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Right. So Babylon is talking about a man called a Lucifer. It's a man. And this, what man is that? What man has got the characteristics of the damn devil, Satan himself? The white man. That's why when we were traveling, if you traveled in the military, they would tell you, tuck your dog tags, try to act, they gave us away because we used to wear what they call high and tights, and travel alone. And so, why? Because we're known as the great Satan or Satan wherever Americans go. And that includes, unfortunately, us brothers as well. Okay, even though that in Vietnam, they told us, black men, this is not your war, go home. But it doesn't matter. If you're an American, they see you as an imperialistic power. So read it again.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O
Yes.
Lucifer?
Yes, sir.
Son of the morning. How art thou cut down to the ground?
Right.
Which this weakened the nation.
That's the point. They weaken every nation. And what's happening is the Most High is going to allow these other nations to rise up. He's going to allow the European Union to be dissolved. NATO is going to be crumbling. And guess what's going to happen? There's going to be a war. And the 10 horns are going to hate the whore. Get Revelation 17 verse. We cover this all the time. I believe it's, let me look at it. Y'all should know where it's at by now. The 10, is it 10 or 11?
12.
Read it.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdoms as yet.
No, that's not it. Get six. That's good, but let's get 16. No. Get 15.
15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
That's why he has military bases all across the entire globe. And he sits on people. Because why? He is the oppressor that Isaiah talked about. Oh, has the oppressor ceased? Now, read on.
And the 10 horns.
Stop. The 10 horns is, we talked about the 10 horns is the EU, the 10 common markets. That's the European Union. Now, Babylon the Great is the whore. When you read up in verse 4, okay? Read verse 4.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones.
Remember, this is the golden city. Read on.
And pearls, having a golden cup in her hand.
Golden cup, the golden city, riches. Read on.
Full of abominations.
Now, how did they get them riches? Through abominable acts, abominations, deceit, and sorcery and witchcraft. Read on.
And filthiness of her fornication.
Right, all the fornications that they have. Sexual violations of God's laws, plus spiritual fornication. Okay, read on.
And upon her forehead was a name written.
Come on.
Mystery Babylon the Great.
Isaiah and John, they're saying very similar things. Now, go back to 16.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 16.
Now, watch this. This is important because in order for NATO to fall, this is going to happen, and it's starting to happen. Actually, as soon as the first missile launched, okay, and then they went and destroyed that Nord Stream pipeline, it's a wrap. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, y'all. Read.
And the 10 horns, which thou sawest upon the beast.
Because if I'm a horn on a beast, that I'm with that beast. I'm down with you. But how is a horn on a beast going to hate itself? Because they are the same people. Read on.
These shall hate the whore.
They're going to hate the whore. They're going to hate America. Read.
And shall make her desolate.
How are they going to make her desolate? They're going to go to war with her. As a matter of fact, bring it out, Officer.
No, I just wanted to bring out.
Please, stop me at any time.
You mentioned about that pipeline that they bombed, and this is so important because over here they're developing all of these natural gas plants, and the intention is to now sell natural gas to Europe for the gas that they can't get out of Russia. They trying to pimp them. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we got the proof. What you just said, I got a video, an article later on. The United States just replaced Russia because of that. Now they're selling more natural gas and oil, and they filled that void.
Yes.
So it was strategic. You're 100% correct. 100%.
Draining Europe, but yet and still they pretend they're protecting them, but they pimping them. They're gonna milk them with those with that natural gas. That's what they're gonna do.
Now we're gonna jump. Okay, this is excellent. Did I have you holding a map or something like that? Okay, go to number 2. So now this is my man from Redacted. This guy's thorough. I time-stamped it out, all nice in order. The subject we're going into is now, do me a favor, pull up the largest economies in Europe. Google that on your phone, it doesn't matter. Okay, and pull up number 2, timestamps.
Is collapsing in real time, and the epicenter of the collapse is Germany, which of course is facing its most significant political and economic crisis in modern history. The collapse of the German government has sent shockwaves through Europe over the past 48 hours. I'm joined today by Anna Nguyen. She's a German politician from the Alternative for Germany party. Anna is a member of the Hessian State Parliament and the Frankfurt City Council. Someone deeply involved in German politics. Anna, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Well, just as outsiders looking in here, Americans, Canadians, or international audience watching what's happening in Germany, can you give us an update on where things stand? I understand, of course, on Monday, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, of course, lost that confidence vote in Parliament. The German press has labeled him as the most unpopular chancellor of all time in Germany, which is
Pause.
not.
Think about it. Was he the most unpopular before the Ukraine war? I wonder. All of a sudden, now the German people want him out. He lost the vote of confidence. I wonder why. Well, the decisions are not being made in Germany about the German people, and they're getting sick and tired of it. This is part of that Revelation 17, verse 16 right now. And he can't hide it no more. The people are going to rise up. These are other white folks, okay? Play on.
Where things stand today as we head into the Christmas holiday in Germany?
Well, as of today, Scholz has actually does actually need to ask our federal president Steinmeier to dissolve the Bundestag, which is our federal parliament, and after that, well, we can have snap elections on the 23rd of February. So that's the date where we will probably have, most probably have our snap elections. And then the Bundestag will be, well, elected. And our usual date would have been in September. But since Scholz has lost the confidence vote, the elections will take place earlier.
So talk about what the German people are saying and feeling right now about their government. I mean, as an outsider, as an American, I think we saw this coming. I mean, here the United States destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline.
Stop. Remember, we did a show where Joe Biden said, if Russia sends one rocket into Ukraine, we're going to the Nord Stream pipeline will be no more. He's on record saying that. Then they did an investigation, okay, and they found it inconclusive. But yet the president of the United States made a threat that's documented, and there's nothing they can do about it. So now the German people are putting two together. Now I know we're part of NATO. I know that America's got our back, but now groceries are expensive. Now we got to choose between medicine and heating oil. Now we can't go to the movies. We can't go to hell, we can't barely pay our bills. And this is an MD. That screen looks messed up, but when you look over there, she's actually an Asian woman that lives she's a medical doctor. I'm sorry. She's a doctor. I forget her title. But she said all of the German people are in disharmony. They are really suffering. She's going to go on to say that. So Germany, which is was the largest economy in all of Europe, why is not the big brother coming to the rescue? Because they caused the problem. Okay, play on.
Bringing cheap natural gas to your country. The support of the Ukraine war has been absolutely devastating for Germany. Runaway sanctions in Russia, which has only elevated Russia. I mean, Russia is doing just fine and been brought closer to China, and it's destroyed Germany. But as an American watching all of this, it seemed like inevitable. You guys, shut down your nuclear power plants. You supported these crazy sanctions in Russia. The Americans destroyed your Nord Stream pipeline, and now you have to buy the natural gas from the United States and other places at double.
Why? He just said he said, I'm sorry. He said, rewind it. I don't know if he said America destroyed.
Shut down nuclear plants. That's what you're talking about, Captain?
No, he said something about. I want to see the word. I heard the word he said. He said the U.S. destroyed. I want to hear him say that again. He did say nuclear power plants. At the U.S. put pressure on to shut them down.
Supported these crazy sanctions in Russia. The Americans destroyed your Nord Stream pipeline.
Stop. Pause. He said Americans destroyed your, meaning Germany. Why is that important? Because it came from St. Petersburg, Russia, under the Baltic Sea to Germany. You directly cut off their access. Everything is controlled. When you control fuel, You control everything. When you control the natural resources, everything goes up. The car industry, the food industry, everything goes up when you deal with natural gas and oil. And I'm sorry, natural gas, pardon me. And that is a region, Germany, where all of those areas are very cold countries. So they depend on that for heating. Whereas if you're in, say, Saint-Tropez, France, the south of France, or the south of Italy, you're not as worried about that. But they are in the northern parts. Okay?
And then President-elect Trump said that the European nations need to step up and put more into the military. You cut off their access to be viable, and then you're trying to drain them financially to step up to provide Ukraine with more missiles and military hardware. So Germany is collapsing. So is France because of the pressure that the United States is putting on them. So you can see why they're gonna turn against her.
Yeah, this is just showing how, even though America is a part of NATO, they only have America's interests. They don't really care about these other European countries, and they starting to find that out on their own.
Right. And to your point, both of your point, we're running out of time. Go to 703 to 948, because what's the solution? We know that America, even America, this is an Edomite host that say, yo, America blew up your pipeline. Again, it came from Russia. Russia still's got, think about it, Russia still has the fuel. They just shut the pipeline off. They can redirect the fuel to somewhere else, the gas. Germany now doesn't have any of that, and they were getting it dirt cheap, comparatively speaking, to what they're getting it for now. Now, next time stamp, and we got to move on. We're already 10:15 already.
I mean, how can Germany turn this around? I'm not in power there, but it would seem to me that these crazy regulations, the stopping of combustion engines, and the green energy policies would be something.
So early in the interview, by 2035, it is illegal to drive a combustible engine. So in 10 years, 10 full years in Europe, I'm sorry, I'm not sure all of it, but in Germany, right, which is probably going to factor over to the other European countries, you have to have an electric vehicle. Volkswagen, Saab, Audi, a lot of these companies are German companies, and they're huge in the auto industry. I'm telling you, listen, so she's going to go on to say, what are the German people, because she's a doctor of geopolitics or something. She's not a medical doctor. And she's got her ear to the German street. She's listening to everybody in the political realm, people in the workforce, and she's speaking on behalf of the German. She's not a dumb Asian woman. She's someone who's been studying the economy, studying society, okay, and listen to what the rationale that the German people are going to stand on. Read, I play.
You could get rid of, throw those out as quickly as you possibly could to try to at least stop the bleeding.
And yeah, that's what only the alternative for Germany wants to do. So only us want to reform or even leave the EU. We want.
She said, and the English is a second language. I believe she's from Laos or from Thailand. She said, ultimately, Germany, she said, wants to leave the EU. So why? She's a city councilor. Okay, all right. And she's a MD, so maybe she's a doctor. But here's the thing. If she's saying that, and Germany, the most powerful economy in Europe, is saying they want to leave the EU, what do you think Austria is saying? What do you think Italy's saying? All of them don't want to be in a damn EU.
Right.
Okay? And this is important because we just read in Revelation 17. That shows you what point in history we are. We're past the second woe. The third woe approaches. We are living in these days, brothers, sisters. We're living in these days. We're showing you right now the division amongst the EU countries, it's crumbling. Hence, pull up the thumbnail again. I'm telling you, listen, the Mossad behind, you think Trump moved his head because he's smart. Mossad may move his head. He's going to beat this court case. He's going to get in power. And I'm telling you, we may see World War III in our lifetimes. Look at your boy. NATO crumbles while Trump raises hell. And guess what? The Lord kept his ass alive. The Lord is going to raise him up to do his bidding, just like he did with Egypt. All right? So let it play out, and we're going to move on. All right?
To get the power back to the countries, to the sovereign countries, because at the moment, over 80% of the laws are being made in Brussels, not in Berlin.
I have to say, she said, this is important. You could that's it. We're done with that. She said, listen to me now, over 80% of the laws for Germany are being made in Brussels, Belgium. Why? That's where the headquarters of NATO and the European branch. That little teeny country called Belgium, the laws, and guess who is the person behind the puppet? Babylon the Great. And the people and even the governments cannot mask it anymore. They want free of the EU and free of NATO.
No. I'm just sitting here and I'm listening because I lived in Germany for 3 years as well. And the people, actually, if I had the option to go back to live there, hey, I would. It was a beautiful country. But to hear that the pipeline is getting cut off because it does get cold there. Because we did a lot of training when we were there, and we did it in the cold. Mm-hmm. And it gets cold there, and it snows a lot. So for them to be without fuel to be able to warm their houses, and then they're not going to be able to because you got to realize the gas price is going to go up because the trucks can't deliver to the stores to bring the food. I mean, they bake a lot of fresh food, but there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be frozen. So it
makes heavy. Me kind of wonder how we got into the electric cars and all of that so suddenly. And so they've been looking in advance for a long time about the fuel and everything being cut off. And so they've been planning for this. The eagle looks ahead with the vision. He got that long vision and stuff. And that's what this country does. They've been talking about the economy changing, the currency changing, getting into these electric cars and stuff. They've been pushing them like crazy because they realize in order to battle Russia, they're going to be cut off from the fuel. Russia cut off Ukraine, too. Mm-hmm. And whoever Ukraine was supplying, they cut them off, too.
That just happened. That's in the news right now. Russia is now stopping delivery because even though they're beefing and going through war with each other, they still have certain agreements business-wise that they withhold. Like Russia still trades with the U.S. in certain things.
That was amazing.
And if people think that Russia is still not doing business with the U.S., you're crazy. They're still doing business. They do business as they want to do business. Real quick, before we forget. So now, let's move on from that. My man, we got to get my man McGregor. Timestamp, 11:36. He's about to break it down heavily. This guy, I'm going to tell you something right now. I found out he was part of the Trump cabinet, this guy, Colonel McGregor. They'll never let a guy, this guy is so well, I'm not just saying for an Edomite, he is so well versed in all of the geopolitics, he understands the things that go on behind politically in all these countries. And they're going to allow a guy like Blinken who doesn't understand half the things he talks about. They won't let a guy like this or Scott Ritter. Now, watch what he gets. He's going to break it down, y'all.
Is NATO today, and how would that instability be exacerbated if the United States or Germany withdrew?
First of all, without Germany, there is no NATO. Let's be frank.
Pause. And this is why we named the show this. Germany, the reason why, if you don't have a Germany, you don't have NATO, Germany is one of I think the fourth largest economy on the planet Earth, number one in Europe. Without Germany, NATO, and this is what he's saying. Why? Let's play on. This is what he's going to explain to you.
Germany is a nation of 80 million. In economic and military terms, it is indispensable to the survival of not only NATO, but the European Union. And I would argue that both organizations are in very, very fragile condition. NATO presents a good front with the help of a media that is largely controlled by intelligence services in the West, designed to portray.
Pause. So NATO is a media front propped up by the CIA who makes dumb Americans believe everything is good in Europe. Play on.
Success in places like Ukraine, where there has been nothing but failure. But this is all falling apart because of the economic reality. Germany has been essentially subjected to pasteurization on the model of the Morgenthau Plan at the end of World War II, a plan which we considered and then rejected, but was put forward by Morgenthau. The combination of deindustrialization with the influx of millions of non-Europeans, primarily people from the Middle East and North Africa, has turned Germany into a catastrophe. The population knows it, and the population is now ready to change horses and to remove the people in Berlin that are responsible and to put in a new government. This new government has made it very clear that they do not necessarily agree with the assumption that Germany's membership in NATO is a benefit to Germany.
Pause. And y'all got to see this. Let's just think about it. Let's just peel back like an onion. He just said, and when you can research for yourself, pull up the economies of Europe. I asked you to get, if you can. Germany is the powerhouse of Europe. France is second. If you think that if Germany's people realize this, all the other countries around it, they all think the same way. And Revelation said, these 10 horns, not 9, not all of them, are going to hate Babylon, the great whore. So prophetically, we know for a fact that eventually they're all going to hate him. And wow, he's an Edomite. Why is he talking about his other compatriot Edomites? God puts in his spirit to tell the truth. They'll never allow a guy like this to open his mouth and speak like this in the mainstream American media. And to be quite frank, it's really not important anymore because their ratings went down. They plummeted. Most people don't even get their news from the dumb mainstream media anymore. But they do control the airwaves, and they do have a narrative that is very hypnotizing. Okay? Read that, please. Can you see that?
According to current projections, the top 10 largest economies in Europe in 2025 are likely to be Germany, United Kingdom, France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Russia, Belgium, Poland, and Turkey.
So it says with Germany holding the largest economy in the region. So Germany's falling. Germany's people are saying we're sick and tired of it. That doctor we just showed you, that the other video from Lena Petrova, she said, look, not Lena Petrova, the redacted. She said the German people want out of the EU. McGregor's like, the EU and NATO they can't survive without Germany. Germany has 80 million people, and it is, comparatively speaking to Russia, it's significantly smaller, and it has a stronger economy on paper than even Russia. So again, the Mossad working his thing behind the scenes. Go back to where we was at. We're going to finish McGregor out, and we're going to go to break after that.
Membership in the European Union is necessarily a benefit. Germany is the convenient whipping boy who's blamed for everything that everyone everywhere in Europe doesn't like. And it's stupid, and they're sick of it. And I think we're going to see a rising tide of German nationalism that charts a fundamentally new course. And that course will take Germany back to where it spent most of its time over the last 300 years. And that is as a partner, strategic partner for Russia.
Bam! Bombs dropped for Russia. This is how we know. Think about it. Pull up a map of Asia. See if we can include it with. I wanted to see Germany in relationship to Russia. If we can, we have to get up. Well,
and Captain, to your point, it just shows that Germany always, like you said earlier, they always had that relationship with Russia. And notice how America is trying to anything to do with Russia.
Yep.
They trying to break the economy, but they cannot do it because of what they're doing with BRICS. Russia is becoming pretty much damn near unstoppable right now.
Facts. And to your point, Officer Thomas, why would there's multiple countries that are in the Baltic Sea, right? To your point, why would Russia choose a major pipeline like the Nord Stream 2 to go to Germany? Why not another country? Because they have that relationship. They have that relationship. Pull up,
You can
Guys,
see
go ahead.
Germany.
I don't like this map because it's not y'all, it's disproportionate.
Blow that up around Germany. So there have been wars between Germany and Russia in the past. That
You're
was a big
absolutely
thing in
right.
World War II.
You in the spirit.
These people are all connected. Look at Poland, Germany. All of them are connected, and it makes more sense for them.
Yep.
They all trade back and forth anyway.
Now they can drive there. They got roads. They can get there.
Yes, sir.
So United States was able to divide them up. And remember, after World War II, what they're saying about not Berlin, the nation that's controlling Germany is United States, Brussels. United States set up their economy,
Right.
And they rule them to this day. They call the shots. That's why we get Mercedes-Benz and stuff over here, because we invested in all that. We helped build all of the stuff back, and we control them.
Remember, in World War II, it was pivotal from 1941 to 1945. World War II was the topple of Hitler.
Right.
There's an old saying that when we grew up, you're lucky that the U.S. did what it did, and when it did, because we'd all be speaking German. That's an old expression.
Right.
And the reason why is because Germany got huge war debts after World War I. And that's why Hitler came to power, because I took a class in college called The History of Modern Germany. What happened is there was a need for German nationalism because they were so poor and the inflation rate
Right.
was so high in Germany.
Right.
They used to, literally, you can pull up pictures of this, they used to buy food with barrels full of money, wheelbarrows full, because their money was worth nothing.
Right.
And because of that, to your point, obviously, Yasa, they have controlled Germany. One of the things that Vietnamese lady said later on, which I didn't have time for, she said the German people must not be serfs anymore. Right?
Slaves.
Serfs is an ancient medieval term for you're basically a slave.
Slave.
And they're slaves to the U.S.
Right.
And that's what all these strikes were, these farmer protests, all of these strikes for, because all of the green laws that was going to impose upon them, but the farming, you couldn't have a diesel powered tractor anymore.
Right.
All of that, they were dropping feces on Capitol steps and burning tires in city buildings, because who is dictating the policy? The U.S. through Belgium.
Right.
That's what the lady just said. She said 80% of the laws that affect Germany are not even signed in Germany. They're signed in Belgium. And who controls Belgium? Of course, the U.S. Belgium is that little red country right between France and Germany.
Blow that thing up. Blow that thing up.
That's a good
because
map.
Germany and Belgium in that area. Yeah. Because so people can see how small Belgium is compared to how large Germany is. Right? And then you got Czech Republic, then Poland, because Poland and Ukraine and Belarus, all of those, right next to that is Moscow,
Right.
Russia.
Hey, listen, we're not getting everything tonight, but look, if you look at Russia, right? Look at St. Petersburg. You see the Gulf of Finland, that latitudinal line right there? The Nord Stream pipeline went down. Why didn't it stop in Estonia? Why didn't it stop in why didn't it go to Poland? Why didn't they stop they went to Germany. And look, they went all the way down to that's a big pipeline. And when you blow that, now from Germany, they when they got the oil to Germany, right? Now it's more Central Europe. It's an easy distribution route to Poland, to your point, Czech Republic, to Austria, to Hungary, to Denmark, hell, to France. All these places, and we're not talking about a little 8-inch pipe. These are huge amounts underneath the sea.
Right.
Yep.
So they had to probably send the Navy SEALs or the underwater demolition teams to blow that up.
Right.
To do that. And it wasn't no little M80. They used some major detonation explosive to freaking blow that damn thing. The point is that they destroyed Europe's economy with that one move. That one move.
It makes Europe dependent upon the United States, and that's what they want. as you mentioned, serfs.
Right.
So look, let's real quick before we go to break, let's finish that timestamp because he's about this. I think McGregor actually says it that they blew the pipeline. McGregor himself says it.
Do you see similar events unfolding next door in Austria, the government of which collapsed shortly after Chancellor Scholz's government collapsed in Germany?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Austrians are different from the Germans in many of their views of foreign policy, and they have a different vision for the future from the Germans, but they share a similar interest, and that interest is in good relations with Russia and in avoiding war in Europe. And so, yes, what's happened in Austria and in Germany is just the beginning, I think, of a dramatic change across Europe. I mean, stop and think. We are the people that destroyed the Nord Stream pipeline.
Right.
And I remember in 2019 and 2020 discussing these things when I was in the Trump administration.
Pause. So I didn't realize it till this interview. McGregor was in the Trump administration. So he sat, and that's why I was, why does this guy know so much? Not only was he colonel in the military, by the way, I mean, I'm not bigging up this guy, but he's an Edomite, the lesser of the devils. He's basically explaining, I sat in those rooms with the think tanks. I sat in those decision-making rooms in the Trump Council. And they were trying to say, the Nord Stream pipeline is a problem in 2019. McGregor's like, no, it's not. It's not a problem. What are you talking about? Play on.
Wrote a memorandum that said, whatever you do, stop treating the Nord Stream 2 as some sort of security threat to the United States or Germany, because it isn't. But everyone insisted that it was and said this would make Germany permanently dependent upon Russia. Well, we destroyed it. We destroyed the economy and we destroyed industry in Germany as a result. And now we're going to see the Germans make a 180-degree turn to the east, which is where it has spent its time for the most part over the last 300 years, certainly economically and increasingly politically.
Pause. So why do we say that? Because we brought out in Isaiah what Isaiah saw in the spirit through Christ. He saw these things. He understood in the vision. Is this the man that did weaken the nations? It will. How much does he? If he'll weaken his own brother, the white man in Germany, what you think he's gonna do to South America and doggone Noriega and help me out, Maduro, all of them? What you think he's gonna do to African countries? So he will do that to his own brother. That's why his own brother, which are the 10 horns, they gonna hate their own brother. The Most High is a mastermind. So look, with that, brothers and sisters, we are actually, are we ahead of schedule? You know what? We got a lot for Trump. Stick around, y'all. After the break, we're going to come back and we're going to go to the second half of the show where Trump is raising hell. And we're going to show you the character of Esau, the murderous spirit of Esau, and show you what's going to befall us. And guess what? Your boy's getting in office in the next 10 days. We're living in a volatile time, y'all. Watch and pray. Stick around. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans Camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe! There's so much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom.
Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Good drink, can't I get just to have a good time? That's what we say.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ, bless Bishop Nathaniel here. Hey, March 2025, we're going to have a land blitz fundraiser. So what I need you all to do is hit the QR code, whatever that thing is right there, fill it out on all our social media platforms, because we blitzing. We need this land. We got to get this fundraiser done, Israel. I'm trusting you. Get it done.
Cap, what's a land blitz fundraiser? Exactly what it is. We blitzing for the land. One day, with a large goal, we're gonna raise the funds for the land. That's my goal, that's my mission, and we're gonna make it happen. And I need your help to get it done. There's a link on the Bishop's Instagram and all of our social medias. Click on that link and fill it out. What you're going to do is, you're going to estimate what amount of donation you can make on this one day. On that day, you can also make random donations. But those of you that are watching this video now, we want to get an estimate of how hard we're going to have to go when we blitz. There will also be an in-house event. Y'all remember the Journey to Freedom? This is going to be bigger and better, live from Atlanta. You better get your tickets now, because probably after this announcement, it's going to be sold out. Only 400 tickets. But guess what? All the funds are going to the land. So get it now. Get it now.
And from the islands of the sea. Where else would the Israelites be? The islands of the sea. What is this place called? The Solomon Islands. So what is God telling us? There's Israelites in Solomon Islands. What does that say about you Papua New Guineans? That you're the Israelites. You are the real Jews according to the Bible. And we can further prove that, brothers and sisters. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. To who? Israel. To who? Israel. No, the white man. Israel. No, the Chinese man. Israel. Jesus Christ said, I only was sent to die for the children of Israel.
That's what y'all haven't realized yet. You haven't realized y'all are the sons and daughters of the living God. Y'all are the Israelites. And you got to come back to keep his law, chapter, commandments in righteousness and know who you are according to the scriptures.
What were the children of Israel just called? I can't hear y'all. So who are the saints in the Bible? There we go.
Hey, Shalom Israel, welcome back. Precept upon Precept, the late show. Pull up the thumbnail one more time. So the first part of the show, we showed you that NATO is collapsing and crumbling, in particular with the German economy and how the people want to rise up and flee crumbling NATO and the EU. And if they feel that way, what about the other EU countries? Now, second part of the show, Trump raises hell. And before we get to Trump's, I want to show you the character of Esau. This is an update that I was inspired by Officer Solomon about the sheer, I think this is Solomon's sheer video. It's a short video about the most recent killing in Gaza. This is the spirit of Esau. Whether you're an Israeli Edomite, a Australian Edomite, or a United States of American Edomite. This is their nature. This is their spirit plague.
What every single morning looks like in Gaza City after the Israeli fighters just have targeted this residential building in a Sheikh Radwan area to the north of Gaza City. 4 Palestinians have been reported killed and dozens were injured, and there are many still missing under the rubble. As you can see, civilians are trying to dig deep under the rubble to rescue the trapped civilians.
Let's understand this. This is a residential apartment complex with reinforced rebar and concrete, and they blew it to smithereens. And this is, we're so used to seeing this. By the way, the death toll, they say that it's at 46,000.
Yes, sir.
But they cannot get up all the bodies, and they do not have an accurate count. And some experts say that it is over 100,000 that are dead, and if they're not dead, they're not reporting the ones that are seriously, permanently maimed and damaged. It is well over 100,000 people. And to the comparison of a little over 1,000 Israelis, and some are kidnapped, and it's just disproportionate. They're genocidal maniac. They're not even they're logical, irrational, genocidal, psychopathic maniacs. That's what the Israelis are, the IDF. They're a bunch of psychos. And you got other doctors and professors and political leaders that call Netanyahu a sick, twisted son of a you-know-what. They got people saying that about this guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weren't the Jews being genocide in Germany?
Yes.
And 2 years after that was over, they went to Palestine, purportedly being the Jews, and they're doing to the Palestinians 1,000 times worse than what happened to them supposedly in Germany. Right? So it is total madness, and they always bring that up.
Yeah.
You know, never again, never. Well, you're doing it right now.
Right.
Hey, also too, Cap, to your point, talking about Netanyahu, Poland actually said that they will protect Netanyahu from potential arrest because, you know, back in November, he came up on war crime charges. And so he's actually supposed to be arrested for these things that he's doing.
Right. And I just wanted to show you the carnage and the wreckage. This I believe this was from either this morning or last night. This is happening every day. Hundreds of people are dying every week. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands killed and more injured. Because you got to figure, if you're in a building and you get hit and you break, let's say you break a leg really, really bad, but you get out, you may have a limp the rest of your life. You're affecting people's complete lives. And guess what? I'm going to show you. There's a guy coming up. We're going to play number 5. It's timestamp. His name is Shahid Bolson. Disclaimer. We're not the Nation of Islam. I don't subscribe to Islam or being a Muslim at all. But what he's saying, he's a professor. He's a geopolitical analyst. And it is refreshing to hear what he is about to say. And I don't know, maybe his dad is Judah, but I can't really tell. But he talked like a brother. He's in the wrong religion, but I like what he has to say. He's sharp.
I mean, when you ask me about like the attack in the U.S. over the holidays, you're gonna have to be more specific. I mean, are you talking about the attack a couple of days before Christmas, when a woman was set on fire on the New York subway? Is that what you're talking about? Or you're talking about the guy who got pushed in front of the train, the subway train, on New Year's Eve day? Is that what you're talking about? Or you're talking about the mass shooting on New Year's Eve in Illinois, or the shooting in Mississippi, or the shooting in Ohio, or the shooting in Chicago? Or you're talking about the mass shooting in New York on New Year's Eve? Or is it the guy who drove his car into a crowd in New Orleans? Or is it the Tesla truck that blew up in Las Vegas? Which one are you talking about? I'm going to need to know which one of these acts of wanton violence, which one of these acts of wanton violence is the one that interests you? Which one of these bothers you? I mean, I can guess. But for anyone who genuinely condemns violence, who genuinely detests, and who genuinely does condemn indiscriminate violence against innocent people, well, then you're going to have to explain to me the selectivity of your horror.
Pause. Because this is the point we just made. The Israelis selectively identify the things that are important to them. So yes, some people did get kidnapped and taken hostage. And remember, we had analysts, military analysts, to say you couldn't even throw a rock at the wall where Israel wall was, and now all of a sudden the defenses go down for the whole day, and they flew little makeshift hang gliders over the wall. People, you can't throw a stick and hit the wall without having M16 raised at you. So that in itself, professionals in that field believe that it was a purposeful dropping of security by the Israelis, and they allowed this to happen. They actually got intelligence from Egypt saying it was going to be an attack, and it was all staged. That's what many experts say. Now, the point is that when you deal with white pain, it is selected and upheld and valued. But brown pain, like Palestinians are brown people, right? Their pain doesn't mean anything. 46,000, oh, we're just going to keep killing. They talk about it like it's nonchalant. But then you have one, by the way, the guy that blew up his Tesla was a white American Army Green Beret. Do you know that in some articles they talk about him like he's a hero? But yet the guy that was a veteran, he was wrong. Both of them are wrong. You shouldn't blow up a Tesla, and you shouldn't drive through New Orleans and run people over. They're both horrible. New Orleans even worse. But this guy that is the brown guy, they're telling you all about him. Whereas the Green Beret that injured 6 people, that blew up his Tesla in front of Donald Trump Tower, they got Tim Kennedy, the other Green Beret. Oh, he was a great guy. Never would have expected it. You know, it was great. Told about all his medals that he won. Shows you that when you live in a world run and owned and operated by Esau, he values the pain that he wants you to see, and he doesn't value anybody else's pain.
So you remember, to your point, Cap, Timothy McVeigh, because he didn't like the politics in the nation, he pulled a truck full of
explosive.
What was it?
It was dynamite, wasn't it?
It wasn't dynamite.
A dump truck full of, he blew up the OKC, right?
The stuff they used on the farm. But
Oh,
anyway.
manure.
Manure.
Yes.
And he made a bomb out of it.
Right.
And he blew off the face of that building. He killed women, children, and everybody because of his politics, the way he felt the country wasn't going the way he wanted. And this is the same attitude that the regime we finna deal with now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it doesn't go the way they want. Then, you remember January 6th, they going to get even worse.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely right.
Now listen to what he about to say. He about to break it down about where the true violence stems from on the planet Earth. Play on.
People actually that's horrified by violence, frankly. I mean, that woman who was set on fire on the subway, your people were just filming it. The man who set her on fire, in fact, was just sitting on a bench watching her burn to death. People just walking past. Security people just walking past. It was the same nonchalance with which you have shrugged off the tens of thousands of innocent children, women, and men murdered on an industrial scale in Gaza. It's the same nonchalance, the same blasé attitude. So yes, it's a bit confusing. How exactly you choose which acts of depraved violence you decide are actually bad and are actually alarming. Of course, we all know that you have said that the man who rammed his car into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, you've all said, you've claimed that he pledged allegiance to ISIS. We haven't seen any evidence of that yet, as far as I know. We haven't seen any evidence of that except for an ISIS flag that was mounted upside down. And we've seen pictures where the flag is there and the flag isn't there, pictures of his truck. You said that there's videos of him on social media talking about joining ISIS, talking about believing in ISIS and what have you, but no one has seen those videos. What we know is that he was born and bred in America, just like almost everyone else who commits violent crimes in your country. Just like the gunman in the 500 mass shootings in America last year, the 40 school shootings in America last year. We know that he was a veteran of your military. You trained him, you created him, your society indoctrinated him, and then your military indoctrinated him. Turns out the same is true with the Tesla bomber. That was also your guy. Another American soldier, an active duty Green Beret, no less. I saw some U.S. Senator, Randy Fine, tweeting something about how we have to do something about these violent Muslims, how Islam is this fundamentally broken and dangerous culture and we need to do something about it. That's Senator Randy Fine. He's from Florida. Okay. You had nearly 1,200 murders in Florida, Randy Fine, in 2024. That's over 7 per 100,000 people. Let's compare that to a somewhat comparable Muslim country, say Tunisia. Well, the homicide rate in Tunisia is 2 per 100,000. So Florida is nearly 4 times more violent than Tunisia. Okay, Tunisia has a small population, smaller than Florida. So what about Turkey? Turkey has a much larger population than Florida. It's easily as developed, if not more developed, and has bigger cities than Florida. So what about Turkey? Well, that's 3 per 100,000. So Senator Fine's state is more than twice as violent as Turkey, which is about 4 times larger than Florida in terms of population. Okay, let's say Malaysia then. Florida is about 23 million people. Malaysia is about 34 million. So 10 million or so more. Similar climate, similar level of development. Okay, again, Florida's homicide rate is 7 per 100,000, 7.4 per 100,000. Malaysia has a homicide rate of 0.7 per 100,000. So Senator Fine's state is over 7 times more violent than Malaysia. Homicide rates in the UAE, homicide rates in Saudi Arabia are similar to this. Florida has a higher homicide rate than Afghanistan. It has a higher homicide rate than Syria. Imagine that. You're safer in Syria than you are in Florida.
Pause. So the reason why we're opening up with this is because when we get into Trump now, the difference between Trump and a lot of like guys like Biden is Trump is gangster, bravado, and super confidence with what his agenda is. He got the same agenda as these other Edomites. This guy is, I don't know. What do y'all think? You think he's an Edomite? I can't do. He talk too sharp. It's something about his spirit I don't know. You think so? Well, you never know.
He might be Arab.
His father is Arab. I don't think he's Esau. I think maybe his mother might be Esau. But anyways, irrespective of that, he's not indoctrinated in American politics. He just took America and took one case study of Florida and just did a whole doggone, just dissected it. The point is that everything that's wrong with this world, the United States of America and their foreign fighting genocidal policies, people are tired of it. And Isaiah saw that, John saw that, okay? Now, get me the next video. Now we're getting to Trump now. Pull up number 6. So, you talking about Trump, he's talking about trying to take land. This is an article. Trump is trying to take land, which I believe is controlled by Denmark, the Danes, okay? That's a white country. They don't care. They want to pull up a map of Greenland. Greenland is a vast country with only like 50,000 people that live there. It's a very cold country. But Trump is like, we're going to take it from the Danes. Not Africans, other white people. This is their spirit, man. Okay? Y'all be finding the weirdest maps, man. Okay, can you pull up a map of Canada? I want them to see it. Pull up a world map. Yeah, the population, it's a huge place, and the population is only 57,000, 56,000. Okay, is that the world map?
And the reason why he's trying to take Greenland, he said, because it's a security risk.
Security risk.
What's the guy name? McGregor said the same thing.
Yep.
Whenever they want to take something over, it's a security risk. So now they got to come in, and Trump did a press conference, and a reporter asked, "Will you try to take Denmark without economic or military force?" He said, "No, I can't guarantee that." So automatically off the bat, he already saying how he gonna take it.
Now Esau's maps are disproportionate, okay? Right. Because Africa, on that map, Greenland looks like it's almost the size of Africa.
Yes, sir.
Africa is so much bigger than Greenland,
Right.
okay? Esau's maps are not proportionate. But Greenland is still large. Don't get us wrong. And out of that whole, put the on it, the pointer thing, circle Greenland. There you go. Okay. So look right ahead. It says Denmark. Out of that entire landmass, which is not bigger than Canada, by the way, y'all. It's, but that Greenland has only 56,000 people on the whole continent. To Thomas's point, it is a strategic advantage militarily because why? If you set up bases there, guess what? You could set up missile silos and launch subs across the Norwegian Sea. Guess what you could also do? As the Arctic Circle begins to warm up, you do know that you can breach up and over.
Right.
Remember, the world is a globe. When Isaiah said, upon a circle of the earth.
Right.
Look at can you get a whole world map? Okay. You see Arctic Circle up there? Mm-hmm. You can go from, there's a way, because that shows a flat earth. The earth is a globe. You can go, like when you fly up to different countries, many times the plane goes up and over, like,
right.
If this is a globe, I can't really explain it, but
it goes over the top of the Arctic because the Arctic actually sits on top of the Earth, and then it flies. Because when I flew out of Russia, out of Moscow, that's the route that they took. They went up and over, and then came down on the side of California.
Right, and it's a lot faster.
Right.
So if you're in Greenland, now it is a strategical advantage because you can launch your subs, your ships. Now sometimes the oceans don't freeze, but the waterways in the channels of Canada can freeze. The point is that missiles, aircraft, subs, it is a strategic position. However, when we read this article, there's something else that they want from Greenland. And they will get to the point where they will fight their own Edomite brothers from Denmark for that land. And what Denmark going to do? But, okay, they can't do a damn thing.
Yeah. You remember when Sarah Palin was running for
Alaska
president?
woman. Yep.
She said you could see Russia out the back door of Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So when we look at that flat map, we don't realize that it's really like this. And Alaska's right there by Russia.
Right.
That part of Alaska is right there by that part of Russia.
Right.
The end, the opposites. And they want it strategically so that Russia have come up with that, I can't say it, the Karusnik missile, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And they want to get where they can be able to do the same thing back to Russia. So that land, like you bring it out, has a lot of importance to it.
So let's read it. So it is a global or geographical position. But check this out. There's something more to it. Let's go ahead and read that.
Behind Trump's threat, why is Greenland so strategically important? At a news conference at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida on Tuesday, United States President-elect Donald Trump reiterated his desire to acquire Greenland, which he said was critical to American national security.
Okay, scroll down. So one, like you said, national security, like Officer Thomas mentioned, but there should be something else. Go down. Yes, Trump has also said.
Trump has also said he wanted to make Canada the 51st state of the United States and seize control of Panama Canal as part of his push for U.S. territorial expansion since winning the elections in November. So why does Trump want to acquire Greenland, a territory that is 80% covered in snow and is more than 3,000 kilometers, 1,864 miles from the U.S. capital, Washington, D.C.? Is it the first time the U.S. has tried to acquire Greenland? Where is Greenland? What's its status? Located between the Arctic Ocean and the North Atlantic Ocean, Greenland is the world's largest island and geographically part of North America.
Trump is really thinking about the U.S. interest. If you can get Canada eventually to cooperate more in Greenland, you have the entire North American continent under your control. But also there's something, I don't know if it's going to mention it, but 80% of it is covered by snow and glacial, right? But there is also a significant it's the world's largest island. There's also very many precious minerals and rare earth minerals that they want to extract. So if you got to displace a couple 56,000 natives, what the hell? Trump's willing to take it from his buddies, the Edomites over there in Denmark. And that's it. I'm telling you, Esau don't care. They don't care about nobody but they self and they land.
What about the hypocrisy? They complain constantly about Russia is expanding, taking land.
Facts.
Right.
Here he's saying, we're going to go take some land. But now it's righteous.
Hey, I'm sorry, but what's funny is, I couldn't help it, and please forgive me, but making Canada the 51st state, and then as well as trying to acquire Greenland, so what, Greenland's going to be the 52nd state? I mean, it's crazy.
Hey, can I get a script right quick?
Yes, sir.
Because I just want to read this. Because this is what Esau doing the whole time, bro. Israel trying to do it with Gaza and all the other countries, and now America trying to do the same thing. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 14. Read that real quick.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 19 and verse 14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark.
This is what America trying to do. They trying to remove their neighbor's landmark. Read on.
Which they of old time have set in thine inheritance.
Read on.
Which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it.
And that's what America is. They portray themselves to be God, and they take over whatever they want to take. God said, I gave this land for their inheritance, and don't remove their landmark. But whenever Esau want to take something, they take it. It don't matter who it was for. They say the world is ours.
Right.
All right?
And they already saved Panama one time. I know Panama don't want to be saved again. They came down there to get rid of Ortega. They went down there and killed up the whole military down there.
Yes, sir.
So how are they saying they need to do it again? They already control that.
Pull up. I just sent you an article on tonight's content under Forbes. So this is what proving that Greenland, the world's largest island, only has less than 57,000 people, 20% uncovered, 80% covered. But this is the real reason why. It is national security. It is also because China in the past has tried to gain access. And just like China is gaining access to Africa, Eastern Africa, and parts of South America. Hence, Brazil is part of BRICS. Now, let's read this real quick. Running out of time.
What is really behind Donald Trump's dog pursuit of Greenland? In a casual freewheeling media conference on Tuesday, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump reiterated his wish to acquire Greenland, an autonomous strategic island that is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Trump described his repeated calls to bag the Arctic island, situated between the Atlantic and Arctic Oceans, just east of the Canadian Arctic archipelago, as critical for U.S. national and economic security, as well as that of the free world.
When they say the free world, they're talking about Edomite world.
The president certainly has form when it comes to Greenland. He made similar calls back in 2019 during his first White House stint. The U.S. as a nation has formed too. It first flirted with the idea of acquiring Greenland as far back as 1868. The island has been strategically important for Washington since World War II. The U.S. Army occupied Greenland in 1941.
So that was the beginning of World War II. Read on.
A move that ultimately morphed into a permanent American and NATO military presence.
So we got a NATO base, which is an American base, on the largest island on the earth, Greenland.
At the height of the Cold War, Greenland remained critical for NORAD, or North American Air Defense Command. That is responsible for providing air security, sovereignty, and protection for the wider North American continent.
Scroll down. There's a part where it goes into, let me see real quick. Scroll down to this a little bit more. Not just about security. Okay, scroll down a little bit more. Right there. Interestingly,
Greenland's mineral resource riches are becoming more accessible as the Arctic ice continues to melt.
the ice melts, more land's revealed. Now you can bring heavy equipment in, and you can mine and extract the things you need out of the earth. That's Esau's mindset. Read on.
Due to changing weather patterns, and its mining industry is over 3 centuries old.
They've been mining since the early 1700s. Read on.
That may be an equally powerful motivating factor for Trump. More so, if the resource riches are examined in detail, many of which are highly coveted in the age of digitization,
technology,
and electrification of the global socio-economic complex.
Which China's leading the way. And guess what? That's part of what makes BRICS so strong. And the U.S. is behind the curve. Scroll up.
According to the Greenland Institute of Natural Resources, the island is rich in rare earths.
This is important. What type of rare earths? Read on.
Lithium.
Lithium. You need that to make modern day chips. Read on.
And cobalt, used in the manufacture of components for a range of items from batteries to mobile phones.
And we covered in the last show, also those are chips that go into military weapons like drones and other satellite launching systems. Read on.
Wind turbines to transmission lines and much else in between from a technological perspective.
Because there's a war, there's a pursuit, a war of technology, and you need rare earth materials. In China, remember about a month ago, we did a show where China is now going to ban and put sanctions in the U.S. from getting certain rare earth minerals.
Right.
So how convenient now if Trump gets in power and they just take from their buddies Denmark and take the world's largest island. Now, let's move on. Get number, I believe it's number 6.
It's interesting how this going to play out, because when you read in Revelations 18, it talks about how the nations lived off America, because we know America is an import nation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the other nations benefit off of all this stuff coming into America. It's just interesting to see how this is going to play out.
So let's get number 7, because now he's going to talk about, this is interesting. This is something that Trump may have a problem with Netanyahu. And this is something that, now I know he talks about he's going to back Israel. Sometimes the Most High will put something in somebody. Play that.
Donald Trump sending a strong message to Hamas regarding the hostages still being held in Gaza. Here's national correspondent Kayla Gaskins.
After 15 months of war between Israel and Hamas, around 100 of the hostages taken by Hamas on October 7th, 2023, remain in Gaza. President-elect Donald Trump giving the terror organization this warning on Tuesday.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone.
A billboard celebrating Trump's comments put up in Tel Aviv. According to Reuters, Hamas official Osama Hamdan responded, saying the U.S. president must make more disciplined and diplomatic statements. Democratic Congressman Adam Smith, skeptical Trump's comments will have a significant impact.
It's not like Israel hasn't been doing everything in their power to release the hostages over the course of the last 13 or 14 months. So I don't know that raining hell down upon the Middle East is going to be the solution in terms of getting the hostages back.
Meanwhile, Israel and Hamas appear to be making progress on another ceasefire deal. Hamas has named 34 hostages they would release as part of an agreement, including 5 civilian women, 5 female soldiers.
I'm sorry, excuse me. This is something different. This is very good because basically Trump is going to continue the same stereotypical hypocrisy that the Islam guy came and said, which act of violence are you talking about? And he compared Florida with the murder rate comparative to other Muslim nations. And so Donald Trump's no different. You don't let the small number of hostage goes, we'll kill another 50,000 people. That's their spirit. They don't care, man. And so out of the confirmed hostages, put it back on the screen, you're talking about now it's wrong to take anybody hostage. That's against the societal and international laws, and it's wrong. And for anybody to do that. However, you're going to take this number of hostages that allegedly are taken, and you're going to kill tens of thousands of people, to include women and children, and injure and maim at least another 100,000 all for this. That shows you the spirit is they're not civilized people. They're not humans.
Hey Cap, you know they also say that they don't make deals with terrorists. You know, so that's their way of saying, hey, I'm gonna run this. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
That reminds me of white supremacy right there, because they value what was about 1,200 lives over 40,000 lives. So that goes back to their lives are so much more important or much better than the lives of other people.
But that also goes back into even when we were slaves here, well, you know, chattel slaves, they made us 3/5 of a man. So we wasn't worth anything. So who is anybody else?
We were never slaves. We were captive.
Check this out. So let's go to number 8. Now, Trump is so bold. So number one, he's like, we want to get Canada could be the 51st state. We might take it from Greenland from Denmark. He talked about the Panama Canal, about securing that. Now, Trump is talking about he wants to get me the map of the Gulf of Mexico. I never heard it. This is this Edomite is something special. God going to use Donald Trump to do something mighty on the earth. He is going to harden this dude's heart, man. That's the Gulf of Mexico. And listen to what Trump is going to say.
And we're going to be announcing a future date pretty soon. We're going to change, because we do most of the work there and it's ours. We're going to be changing, sort of the opposite of Biden, where he's closing everything up, essentially getting rid of $50 to $60 trillion worth of assets. We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
Hey, and them Edomites is smiling ear to ear, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell you, if I was in the world, bro, this Trump would be Trump. I'd be the guy. You understand? Trump is playing to his center that got him elected. White people, can you say, if I was a white person, right, and you got all these people coming to your country, illegals and everything, that would be scary. You got a guy coming and say, we're going to bring jobs back, we're going to kick the terrorist ass, we're going to rename this. You got people saying that, and guess what? He brings hope. And what our hope is that God is going to harden this dude's heart. He's going to support Netanyahu to a certain degree. They're going to have all these enemies in the Middle East, and guess what's going to happen? The dragons of Arabia are going to remember their nature, and then the 10 horns are going to hate the whore, and America is going to be at the receiving end of all the who the hell you think you are. And it's going to take all them nations to come against the U.S., and it's going to happen, you know?
Cap, Trump is red. His hat is red. We should rename him Old Red.
Yes, Trump, my man
Red.
Trump. Now, go to number 9. This is Officer Thomas. You can break this down. Thomas, you shared this earlier. I know, I see.
Go
considering military force to annex.
So this is what we was talking about earlier, what Greenland and Canada, and also Mexico too. I don't know if y'all seen the part about the Mexican president, but play that. Go ahead, read.
Economic force, because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. I love the Canadian people.
So pause. This what Cap was talking about earlier. He trying to merge Canada, make them the 51st state, and also he trying to take Denmark. Why? Right. Because he's trying to protect that border. He see BRICS. He see all the things that Russia and China doing. He trying to find some way to protect America's interests. Go ahead, go ahead.
But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need their.
Now, didn't they destroy? What Detroit? They used to always make cars in Detroit.
Yes, they did.
And then what happened?
They destroyed the economy.
They destroyed the economy and outsourced it.
Right.
Now they trying to bring it back insource it now because of China. China said we're not giving y'all no more lithium and all that other stuff. So notice what he said though, right? He said that we protecting them. We spending all this money, so we have to do this. This is what America do. I think he said something earlier about the same thing with Denmark. That they protecting them, and since they doing he said it about the Gulf of Mexico. Right. He said we do all the business out there anyway. It's basically ours. Same thing he's saying with Canada, and the same thing he's saying with Canada.
He's probably going to try to take over Mexico as well. He's changing the Gulf. He's talking about adding Canada as the 51st state to secure all the borders. He needs to take over all of that.
Right.
And not only that, if you think Central America is not being funded and set up by the U.S. And why is that important? Because one of the last countries in Central America is Panama. And there's a canal that goes to that little sliver of land that is arguably the most important waterway on the entire planet Earth, more than the Suez Canal.
Right.
It connects commerce through barge from the Atlantic to the Pacific.
Right.
And if you control Mexico and Canada, you control that whole land. None of the Central American countries have a military that can stand against. Why? Because we saw the video of the Panama Canal deception.
Right.
They went in there and in one night they destroyed them, man. They destroyed them. They had laser beams. They used.
Right.
It was horrible, man.
Right.
Watch that damn show. That's the Panama Canal. That's the shortest breach of land to get from the Atlantic, which is on your right side, to the bottom. No, I'm looking at the wrong way, huh? You got to turn up. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Caribbean is at the top. So actually the Panama.
Next, the east
no, I
to
see
the
what
west.
you do. Yeah, no, he's right. He's right. It's just the way it goes up. Okay. So it's actually the Pacific is on the bottom,
right,
which is, I see. Okay. Huge importance. And also, if you think about it, right, BRICS right now has Cuba on the radar.
Right.
They have Brazil. There's a
Right.
couple of other Central and South American countries. I'm not sure if it's Bolivia.
Bolivia was one of them.
BRICS could now position themselves to try to control the Panama Canal. And if you think that Trump's not paying attention, like Officer Thomas says, he's paying very close attention. Okay? Because if it wasn't for the U.S., who do we really have? Germany's economy is collapsing. Who else does the U.S. have as a strong ally? Great Britain? Yeah, they've got military power and nuclear weapons, but they don't produce anything. Britain is a neo-colonialist that had put foots in everywhere else to get their resources and their power, you know?
Yeah, so they're basically liabilities instead of assets.
Yes.
Because of the fact, just like you just said, they don't produce anything. So basically, and the U.S. is still paying money to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they are basically a liability.
This is a part of Trump's point. He's saying that we paying all this money to protect these people. They not really doing nothing. So y'all might as well just give us y'all land.
Right.
That's basically what he's saying.
Hey, the last one, Thomas, you put number 10. We're going to close out with this. Now he's going to. We mentioned about Greenland, which we said before. We're not going to take Greenland. We're going to take. He's looking to take Denmark. And Denmark, take Greenland. Denmark technically owns Greenland, which that dates back to Denmark had power in the 1600s. The same thing with the Netherlands, which they have. If you ever, those of you used to smoke weed back in the day, a lot of y'all. There was a cigar. They have Black and Milds, and they have another one called the Dutch Masters. And there's a picture of colonial white men with hats on that a lot of black people are dumb enough to smoke weed out of. So you're putting money in their pocket. But anyways, that was the Netherlands and the Danish. That area of the Baltic Sea is where the Dutch came out of. And they were a huge power back in the day. Now they've got no power. So let's read this BBC. Is it an article or is it a video? Let's read this, and then we're going to go to the Lard back attack. I got some good information to bring out real quick. Go ahead.
Trump ramps up threats to gain control of Greenland and Panama Canal.
All right, and this is by way of Officer Thomas. Got this research for us. Go ahead.
President-elect Donald Trump has reiterated his desire for the U.S. to acquire Greenland and the Panama Canal, calling both critical to American national security.
Why? Because if you could control the Panama Canal militarily, because that's what it's not talking about. It is talking about collecting money, but you can control who you want to turn away from going through that canal. Which means if you pull up the map again, if you could control who goes through the Panama Canal and who doesn't, look at the trade route. Look at the amount of extra miles they have to travel. Yep. If we can, show me world map. I'm sorry. World map. I should have said world map. If you can cut through the Panama Canal, the only other route, you're not going above Greenland because that ocean is frozen up there at the very top. You got to go all the way down to Chile and Argentina, and those are rough waters down there.
Right.
You got to go all the way down to go all the way back up to the where you see the Easter Island, and you see the Tropic of Capricorn, that line. You would have to go all the way back up to hit that trade route. You go to Panama Canal, you could hit Ecuador, Peru, California, Mexico. If you control that, you control commerce. And again, to Thomas's point, why is it part of national security? Because they want to remain the superpower, the bullies of the earth, for as long as they can. And they're not going to be able to hold it, but for only so much longer. Okay? Stop showing me on the doggone screen, man.
Asked if he would rule out using military or economic force in order to take over the autonomous Danish territory or the canal, he responded, "No, I can't assure you on either of those two."
So the question would be, how would you take it? Would you rule out military or economic force? How else would he get that? How else would he get that? Because they're not going to just give it to him.
Right. Hey, pull up France threatens the USA. I was researching this about 2 hours before the show. France actually made an indirect threat to the United States because they're not going to stand by and allow, because they talk about how it's wrong to go and take over a country. Well, and he said that includes any power. There's something that says France. Okay. Germany and France warned Trump against taking over Greenland. Well, anyways, you don't have to get there. We're just showing you that both Germany and France are both saying, when you warn somebody, are you just scolding them? If Trump would have actually tried to take Greenland, the world's largest island, from another European country, France, and by the way, France and Germany, guess what they have?
Nukes.
ICBMs. They got a lot of them. And they got a great Air Force and a great, that couldn't beat the U.S., but they could go to war with them. And they're basically saying, you better back up. Trump don't care. He's not even in office yet. Here's the deal. It goes back to Revelation. It shows you the level of hatred now. They're part of NATO. They're supposed to be all together. And France and Germany, number one, I'm sorry, is it England and Germany, right? England and France, sorry. England and France the two top 5 economies are like, if you try to take that, we warn you, there's going to be a consequence. If I'm a country and I warn someone, I'm warning you with a consequence. You're not about to do that. We're going to step up and defend. Okay? Get it off me, and let's put that to the article. Thomas, bring it out, Thomas.
But I can say this. We need them for economic security. He told reporters during a wide-ranging news conference at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Both Denmark and Panama have rejected any suggestions that they would give up territory.
So if they're not going to give up their territory, then first he's going to put the sanctions on them. And if the sanctions don't work, then he's going to go in there with military first. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying, I'm not ruling out neither one of these things. So basically, he going to do that in so many words. Go ahead, read that part right there. Trump also vowed to use economic force when asked if he would attempt to annex Canada and called their shared border an artificially drawn line. You see that? He let you know what his plan is, what he's going to do. You know what I'm saying? He's going to use economic force first, and then if that don't work, then he's going to send in the CIA and all of them, the top of the government, or whatever he's going to do to take it over.
Last scripture, get me, and I don't remember where it's at. Maybe it's Luke 17 or Matthew. It says, a house divided cannot stand. So the problem is that Esau, according to Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. Esau runs the earth. But if a house like Esau is divided, they cannot stand either. Let me look it up.
But he covered
a house divided.
I got it, Cap.
Okay. Listen to this. What is it, Matthew? Matthew. It's Matthew. It's Matthew 12:25. 12. Start at verse 23.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 23. And all the people were amazed and said, is not this the son of David? But then the Pharisees heard it. They said, this fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. This is getting into Christ. So now, verse 25 is the point. Now, it is talking about Israel. But guess what? This is all kingdoms fit this. Watch this, read.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
We have the house of Israel. When we were divided, we could not stand. You also have the house of Esau, or the flock of Esau. And out of that flock or that house or that nation, you have brothers and family members. The Germans are Edomites. The Danish are Edomites. The Australians, the Russians, they are Edomite nations, and they are at odds with each other. And it is God, the Most High, that is putting in their hearts to do all this work. So, y'all brothers, we had a lot more. We got to get ready to shut down. We're on track time. We appreciate y'all. Thank you, all the brothers, a couple brothers and sisters who do share comments and who also share content. We appreciate you. I don't always get to use it, but we appreciate you. A lot of times, the things that you send to me, it helps me to get an idea. So we appreciate and value y'all. Y'all make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Rumble, all of the social media, and share, because everyone's asleep right now on the East Coast. Share. Hey, get up in the morning, watch Precept upon Precept. You know what I mean? It's a late show, but drink a cup of coffee in your ride into work on Friday. Watch us, okay? We're keeping you informed what's going on all over the world geopolitically and how it affects us as the 12 tribes of Israel. So with that, we're going to the Lord back attack for a quick 5 to 6 minutes. Shalom.
Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And do it to the end, going all in. Going all in. Yeah, you can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High and Christ bless. I want to give a shout out. I know sometimes I could be very stern and over the top with some of you brothers, but a lot of you need it. We've had multiple brothers and some captains who have gone from red to green already. And all praise to the Most High for these men taking the help seriously. And the goal is, the ambitious goal, the vision is that all of our ranking men within 2 years maximum, mostly all of them by next men's conference, are going to get into the green, which, by the way, is a very achievable body fat percentage. Then we're going to ultimately turn to our women. There's 2 videos I want to show you, very short videos, that is so relevant to what we deal with today. And the problem with our diets, there's 2 major issues, and I'm going to keep saying it over and over. Number one, we as Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, the Israelites, we eat too many times a day. You do not need to eat. And by the way, if you have a snack, that's a meal. As you ingest calories, you spike your insulin. So if you have maybe 3 meals, but then you're snacking, you're eating 4 to 6 times a day. You can eat 1 time a day and be just fine to get all the macro and micronutrients, all the vitamins and minerals. If you eat the right foods and drink the right water, you can absolutely get all the requirements, protein included, by the way, for all you weightlifters who think you can't get all protein in 1 meal. It's been proven. You brothers, stop eating so frequently, and stop. I repeat, tonight, this is going to be alarming. Stop with the sugar intake. Let's go back 200-300 years ago, right? Where did we get our sugars from? Fruits. And the fruits that we got in the areas we lived were seasonal to that area. We got it. Sometimes we would have specialty desserts every once in a while, like molasses, or you might find a hive and get honey. The problem is there is an alarmingly, ridiculously overabundance of sugars that were never supposed to be ingested, except the last 60 to 70 years. You see it now. Watch this next video. This is quick, but this is powerful. Stop playing games, Israel. Play.
Amount of blood you have in your body. This is the amount of sugar in your bloodstream at any given time. This is the amount of glucose an average adult consumes each day. Sugar in the brain is called dementia. Sugar in your pancreas and bloodstream is called type 2 diabetes. Sugar in your skin is called aging. Sugar in your liver is called fatty liver disease. Sugar in your heart is called cardiovascular disease. Sugar in your kidneys is called kidney failure.
Play it again. Now, real quick, when you first, and I missed it the first time, she's got 2 gallons. One is a full gallon, which I believe a gallon is 128 fluid ounces. It looks like about 1.5 gallons. That's the average person. Obviously, someone like Thor, or a guy that's 7 feet tall is going to have more blood than, say, someone that's a 6 foot tall man. But in typical, this is about the average blood that you have in your body. So the body is supposed to regulate to keep 1 part of sugar per the blood in your body. And when it gets above that, what it does is it fights to get it out. And if this is why you have dementia, it's sugar in the brain. This is why you have fatty liver. It's sugar. Your body cannot get rid of it. This is why fasting, either intermittent fasting or prolonged fasting or even water fasting, is so great for you. You need to go longer between the times you ingest sugar in your body. If you did that alone, if you ate 1 meal alone, you give your body 23 or so hours, depending if you stretch the meal for 2 hours, you give your body almost the entire day to recover from the abuse that you've given to it. This is why so many, how the hell do you have childhood diabetes too? That didn't exist 60 years ago. We have to start, I tell all you fat back, disgusting lard asses and you diabetic too, you're all a bunch of victims. Anybody that has diabetes too, you're a goddamn victim. You're a victim of your own stupid mind. Every one of you can reverse diabetes too. It may take you 6 months. You got to go super low carb and give me an example. First thing I ate today, right? I had 2 cans of sardines, the skinless, boneless, which is very good for high in omega-3. I had an avocado and I had a Greek yogurt. Total carb load on that. The avocado had just very, very little, and the yogurt, I think, had 2 grams of sugar. That's it. That was my first meal. Filled me up, mostly proteins and fats, very low carb, very low sugar, and I felt great. The point is, mostly all of us in this room, and we eat too much sugar. Eating rice turns to sugar. I'm talking about white rice. Eating bread turns to sugar. Eating pasta turns to sugar. Cake, cookies, and all that crap, you shouldn't eat it anyways. It is dangerous what we're doing. And the thing is, our bodies are so resilient and powerful. It takes decades of you doing this, and then you have a problem. You get kidney disease when you're 58 years friggin' old. We have to stop. Listen, it's not a game. It's not cute. He's fat. You skinny brothers, we have to limit greatly the amount of sugar that we eat. And if we do have sugar, it should be linked to the husk called fiber. If you have a banana, yes, it has natural sugars in it. And by the way, diabetics, even people that are trying to recover from that, you don't need any of that sugars. But normal people, if you're going to have sugar, it should be packaged in the package God meant. Banana has the fiber. The blueberries have the shell and the fiber. The raspberries, so on and so forth. The mango has the flesh. That is how we're not even supposed to, really, we're not supposed to be eating honey. And honey, by the way, you read about it in the scriptures. Israel didn't go around keeping jars of honey in their goddamn refrigerators. They would eat honey sparingly every once in a while. And that's why a lot of you brothers that got big, you got guts like this, is because your body never got a chance to heal. You got to understand. I'm telling y'all, stop playing. But watch it again. Listen to what she's saying. It's not a game.
Amount of blood you have in your body. This is the amount of sugar in your bloodstream at any given time. This is the amount of glucose an average adult consumes each day. Sugar in the brain is called dementia. Sugar in your pancreas and bloodstream is called type 2 diabetes. Sugar in your skin is called aging. Sugar in your liver is called fatty liver disease. Sugar in your heart is called cardiovascular disease. Sugar in your kidneys is called kidney failure.
Brothers and sisters, we have to stop. It's not a game. And Ezekiel says you shall eat your bread defiled amongst the Gentiles. The way that they're really killing people, it's not saturated fat, it's not eggs, it's not eating too much steak, even though the scripture, we should not eat too much meat. The scripture Bishop brought out years ago, it's in Sirach. But sugar in the dainties is the thing that's hurting you. And the thing about it is you might be a man that's 45 years old, 35 years old, you're skinny, you play sports, but that decades of sugar abuse, you're going to have all kind of problems in your future. It's a warning. Cut back your goddamn. I like this guy. This guy right here, watch what he's about to say. Why would all these Edomites risk their goddamn careers to say these things? Listen to what he's about to say.
Sugar when you eat it. A donut, Pop-Tart, piece of bread,
Rewind
doesn't
it again.
matter.
I want everyone at home to listen. Listen to what he's saying. Esau going to tell you the truth.
Did you know that sugar when you eat it? A donut, Pop-Tart, piece of bread, doesn't matter. Kool-Aid, Dr. Pepper. Did you know that when you swallow sugar, they have known for 70 years that it goes inside your bone marrow and it suppresses within 45 minutes your body's ability to produce white blood cells that fight infections like bacteria, yeast, viruses, funguses, and parasites. Did you know that it literally shuts off your immune system and makes you more susceptible to all viruses, all infections? And did you know that they compared sugar to prednisone? Prednisone is a steroid. And do you know that its job is to suppress your immune system? In fact, it's called an immune system suppressant. Did you know that sugar suppresses your immune system more than prednisone does? So if you're trying to fight an infection, if you're worried about the bird flu in the future, and I find out you're eating donuts and Pop-Tarts and cereal in the morning, you don't care about your health.
So this is very important. And this is why I tell brothers, and a lot of you don't listen. And like I told y'all brothers before, I'm not coming to the hospital to see you. I go honor you to your funeral. I'm not going to hospital. I'm not coming to know you with no olive oil. Maybe if you're in New Orleans or whatever, because I'm over the camp with Captain Matthew. But other than that, I don't feel sorry for none of you. The reason why we're obese, the reason why we're unhealthy is because there's two reasons. And this is the damn solution. You eat too often. And you eat too much carbs and sugars. That's the problem. You want to fix it? Cut out the carbs and go very low carb and very low sugar. And you can still have very enjoyable foods, right? And eat one at the most 2 times a day. Watch what will happen to your health. And you brothers out there that keep complaining, I can't lose weight because you don't care about your health. You do not try. So this is why the Lord is going to put on the spirit of certain men, and they're raising up. There's brothers that's going to green. There's brothers that's changing their life. And I hear reports, Cap, and listen, all praise to the Most High. I'm motivated now. And it ain't got nothing to do with me. I just yell at people. Brothers are realizing that in order to get healthy, they got to change their lifestyle. And when they do that, one of the benefits is they lose the fat. But they're also fixing their kidneys. They're fixing their doggone pancreas. They're fixing their insulin. They're fixing their kidneys and all other organs. And they're fixing their overall health. Why? Because they're applying what our bishops and deacons have been teaching us out of the Bible. Sirach 30:25, Sirach 31:15-16, Sirach 38 verse 4, so on and so forth. I'm Captain Shem, and with that, shalom.
Yeah. You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And do it to the end, going all in. Going all in.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. We're seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. If you would please kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. All right, thank you for your support. Give alms. To give alms at your local school, drop an envelope in the alms box. To give online via PayPal at iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. Also, to give to the Booster Club via PayPal at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Right, you see this box right here? Donate to the Booster Club. Also, you can text to donate 646-982-3858. Right here. Donate. Donate today. Donate. Land fund. Donate.
All praises to the Most High. We appreciate y'all sticking around. Another late show, Precept Upon Precept. If you could, please go subscribe to our YouTube page. Our Facebook page, Instagram, and also the platform called Rumble. You can find videos. You can, if you have an idea for a show. We don't get that many ideas for shows because there's so much going on in the geopolitical world right now that everything's, next week is going to be something new. By the way, in the next, not next week's show, but the week after that, you're going to see what all the Trump policies and things that are going to happen in 10 days from tomorrow. So with that, anything else you officers want to bring out? I'm forgetting something. Hey, we all tired. Shout out the tech team. We gave them a couple of things at the last minute, and we're growing. We're getting there. So y'all, thanks for sticking around. We got work tomorrow, and with that, we say
shalom.
There's a special place that I like to go with nobody's home to increase my understanding. My daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts. Precept on precept, line upon line. Precept on precept, line upon line.